Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Center for Spiritual Living Charlotte. Today, I'm your host, Alan, and we are delighted that you've chosen to join us on the super September morning. There are so many places you could have been, but you chose to be with us, and we are thankful. And we also give a shout out to all the grandparents out here, wishing you Happy Grandparents' Day. And we love connecting to so many people through YouTube and Facebook. So I encourage you to check out our website, cslcharlotte.org, put in a prayer request, and subscribe. We're always adding something new each and every week. So who are we at CSL Charlotte? Well, we're a New Thought community based on the science of mind. This philosophy was developed in the early 20th century by writer and lecturer Dr. Ernest Holmes. Dr. Holmes was a man on a mission. He combined truths and wisdom from all the world's traditions and spiritual paths, and created a fresh, new way for us to look at ourselves and how we fit into this world. So what do we do here at CSL Charlotte? Well, we're a diverse community. We love and accept people just as they are. We are all at the individualized aspects of that same divine light. It doesn't matter your race, sexual orientation, or any other physical distinction. So I encourage you to check us out. We also use many holy scriptures, such as the Bible, the Quran, the Bhagavad Gita, the Diamond Sutra, just to name a few examples. So why are we here? Our vision is to live these science of mind principles so we can level up our lives and inspire other people to transform their lives so we can create a wonderful new world that works for everybody. So before I pass the mic over to our fabulous leader, I would like to leave you with a quote for today. In the stillness of your presence, you can feel your own formless and timeless reality as the unmanifested life that animates your physical form. You can then feel the same life deep within every other human and every other creature. You look beyond the veil of form and separation. This is the realization of oneness. This is love, and it's by Eckhart Tolle. And now I'd like to pass the mic over to our fabulous, radiant Reverend Rosedale Jones.
Wow, Alan, thank you. You know what, Alan? That quote has something to do with some of the things I mentioned today, I will be mentioning. So thank you, our fabulous MC, Alan, the right-hand man. Drum roll, please. Anyway, this is CSL Charlotte, the Mind, Body, Spirit Center. We know that all three of them need to always be operating when we pray, when we do our spiritual practices, for everything. So to anyone listening to us, YouTube is number one. Make sure you comment in the link below and tell us where you're from and where you're listening at. So welcome. So with that, today is our focus. And here it is. The focus is home is the energy of oneness. Now, when you find out that home is the energy of oneness, I want you to say to yourself or say at the end, I got it. Plain and simple, I got that. So first, we're going to open up our Sunday service with an opening prayer. And what that's going to do is set the tone for us. So leading us in this prayer this morning is our loving voice and our spiritual practitioner, emeritus, Maureen Thurston, aka Mo. And she knows home is the energy of oneness. So let's hear her prayer so we can get started onto this awesome service. Mo, let's pray.
Okay, thank you, Reverend Rosedale. So let's just take a moment to turn within, to that place within our minds and in our hearts, where we know without a doubt that this is the perfect time for us to be together, to share this time. I know that each and every one of us hear exactly what is ours to hear out of Reverend Rosedale's message this morning. And I know that as we go forward into the rest of the week, that it will carry us through and keep us motivated to be all that we can be and to continue to show up as the divine individuals that we are. I know that this service runs smoothly and easily, that everyone gets exactly what they're going to need to hear. It is done with ease and with grace, And so as I release and I let go, I know that it is done. I know that it is manifesting right now individually within each and every one of us. And together we can lock this in by simply saying, and so it is.
And so it is. So beautiful. Thank you, Mo, for bringing us into our setting here today. So, next on our platform is our reader, Melissa Spiegler. She's the girl from Tennessee. And I know she knows home is the energy of oneness because she knows that she's going to be reading about oneness. So, because of that, she's doing the reading. So, after Melissa's reading, listen to the song I Am by Beautiful Chorus. It has a lot to do with us having this oneness, but you will hear that as you go along. So, Melissa, make it do what it do.
Thank you, Reverend Rosedale. This morning's talk home is the energy of oneness. It is something powerful that we all have an opportunity to really learn. And our reading this morning is actually called Living from Oneness. And it is an excerpt by Reverend Rosedale Jones. We are expressions of spirit, here by divine design, living with intention. Each day we rise through the quiet strength of inner knowing, of how we drown out the noise of the world. Truth is easily found in us, like a compass attuned to the vibration of who we are. When we listen within, we feel the pulse of connection. We feel the energy that flows through us, moves beside us, and reminds us of our oneness with all that is. This path isn't about becoming, it's about remembering. We are not separate from the source energy. We are the physical living presence of it. As we deepen into the spiritual practice, our faith expands. Purpose becomes touchable. It shows up in how we choose, how we trust, and how we walk through the unfolding with courage. Even when the life feels uncertain, we stay rooted. We affirm our connection, spirit, is our oneness within it. That means we're it, not just in the light, but in every shadow. We see beyond appearances and hold the vision of our highest expression. This is what it means to live from oneness, not someday, but right now. Truth is our rhythm, purpose is our flow, and our oneness, spirit, is the breath that moves all things in life. And here's a final quote by Reverend Rosedale. As we deepen our spiritual oneness, the call grows clearer, and the messages within speak volumes. And so it is.
What I want to be, I am. You hear that? Wow. Let's just start with a short centering. Relax your eyes by gently putting them into your lap or closing them if you choose, but it's a personal choice. But I invite you to take a breath with me, and as you breathe out really slowly, let everything go before you got here. Check out that song, I Am. That song, I Am, is really a meditation of oneness. Every time we declare I am, we're naming God as us. We are affirming true nature. We are at home with this oneness that I am because we know that I am is the name of God. See, home is the energy, which is I am. God is that energy, that essence of that oneness that we go home to. So, whether we say I am love, I am peace, I am happy, I am strong. We are tuning in to that spirit that is always present and is always one with us. So, the power of that song is to remind us that our words shape our reality, and every I am is a doorway. Open the door is a doorway back home to the oneness, the energy of oneness. So, when I say I am, we return home. So if I say I am, I'm on my way home. That doesn't matter where you go. Let's say, for example, I say I am not happy. Well, guess what? I'm still returning home because I'm calling my name as God. Remember that. So we want to get that vibration up. Every time I say I am, spirit is naming itself through me. So that beautiful song is a beautiful reminder. So wiggle your fingers and your toes and start to realize that you're integrating mind, body, and spirit right now. And take a few more breaths with ease and look around your space and embrace your space and begin to realize you are home, because home is the energy of oneness. Now we're aligning, and what happens is we align with an intuitive sense that alerts us through our passions, our inquiries, and our curiosities. Melissa read my quote, which said, as we deepen our spiritual oneness, the call grows clearer and the messages within speak volumes. What I mean by that is those are those persistent thoughts that refuse to let go, whether they're good, bad, or in between. But you know what? We hear, we feel, we taste, we touch, we even see, and even sometimes we dream them. But once we receive these messages, they become ours to grasp. Now, we can respond to Spirit's call in all kinds of ways, but at least we'll know they're there for us either way. Now, with that, one day I want to, I think it was recently. One day I was home in the energy. And when I say I was home in energy, that means I was in my spiritual practice or meditation or whatever I use. So in the energy of oneness this particular day, I made an inquiry. I said we're going through our inquiries, or we're also doing it through our passions. So I wondered to myself one day, if it's time for me to move right or to the left. I come to the crossroads, I think, every week or every other day about something, and I'm ready to get to the next journey. Because we have to be able to accept that we're on journeys all the time. But when it's time to move on, that's one thing about me. I'm not surprised. I just know that home is the energy of oneness. And so therefore, I'm going to make my inquiries as soon as I get that opportunity to just sit there. Now, I could be in my car. I could be taking a walk. I could be walking nature. But that's home if I'm in the energy of oneness, or if I acknowledge that I'm in there. So I wanted to know this other day if how I can create these awesome fitness videos, and also how I can create a space for my personal training clients as well. So my answers, when the answers that I get from these revelations, they come at the wildest times for me. So my answers reveal deep insights. And these insights are either coming because I did research, or because I'm just questioning things at night or in the morning, or I'm just exploring ideas. But I'm going to get some insights. So I just keep moving on my day. I don't look at answers. I don't keep picking up the seeds after I put them in the ground and rip out my roots. But I hear, I feel, I see, I sense, and revelations come. I could be driving in my car and all of a sudden, boom, there it is. But then I get to start a new journey. Once I get this idea, I'm gone. Because see, in general, when we have insights, we are led on different paths, and they're very specific if we listen to them. For me, I've had job changes over the years. I've been open to love. I have been on the call of ministry for the last 12 years or so since I've received the call. And then shifting gears was wow. All of this comes just because I'm getting these revelations. Now, the more I come home to my oneness with spirit, the clearer the call becomes. And so what happens with all this and all the other insights I get, I either listen to them and decide which one I'm going to do, but I do most of the things because that's why you do the practice. You don't do the practice for spirit to say, or this oneness in you to say, oh, you know what, make a right here. And you say, oh, no, wait a minute. Are you wanting this help, or are you deciding that you're going to do what physical mind says, or you're going to do what the oneness in you is saying? See, because the faster we recognize that that's the voice of the oneness and respond to those insights, the more attuned we become. And the more attuned we become, the wiser we grow and the more we evolve. I must have evolved a gazillion times, just because we may feel like we're in a standstill or we're down in the valley, it doesn't mean we can't reach for higher ground. So as we travel on our spiritual paths, and each and every one of us have our own, we strive constantly for higher ground. What human being is not striving for higher ground? So we do know that's the strive. That's what we want to do. But we have to understand we got to deal with both peaks and valleys. Okay, so once we can do that in life, we can get the offerings of all the challenges so we can learn from them and the opportunities so we can benefit. So sometimes what happens is we simply just must do well with what we have before we can do anything, regardless of how much or how little it may seem that we're doing toward our success. You see, oh man, okay. Dr. Martin Luther King said something that was so powerful. I never forget it because he moves me. When I listen to those old recordings, and one of the speeches said, he said, keep moving. And my whole life is about moving. I tell people, you got to move your body. You got to move. You got to move. You got to move. But he said, keep moving. From this mountain that he was talking about in this speech. He said, if you can't fly, he said, run. He said, if you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. And if that's not enough for you to move on forward, then sit home, ask yourself what and how can I understand this? Because as spiritual beings having human experiences, we must remain inspired. We must remain engaged. We must even when we don't feel like it, even if we feel like our life's at a standstill, we must engage and be and inspired. Because you have to be inspired in life. Because if you're not inspired, you're just, I don't even want to say. But movement takes on many forms now. Movement can be physically walking. Movement can be sitting down in a meditation, watching yourself in a beautiful meadow or in the beautiful forest. And it's all so beautiful. That's movement. Because you are actually looking at your vision. That's movement. So it's vital. Each and every one of these forms of movement that we have is vital to move like that in any kind of progress. See, it connects us to our purpose. So in our spiritual community at CSL Charlotte, we don't speak of spirit as something distant or above us or out there. Besides that, spirit's not even outside of us. It is within us, it's around us, it moves through us. It's that living energy that beats our hearts, that takes that breath, that moves us around. See, we don't separate ourselves from it, we embody it. We know it as oneness with spirit. That's what we know it as. We don't know that, well, spirit's going to give me this. No. Your practice The time you spend with it, that's going to get you what you want. It's a deep, steady connection. It's pulses in every breath we take, every single moment of the day. By the way, this energy is not limited to humans. Alan mentioned it in the quote. It's to the trees. I love my trees. It's to the trees. I look over there because I'm always looking at my trees. That's me. But it moves in the trees, the animals, the insects, the oceans. I love the ocean too. The beaches, everything. That energy is in it. Especially the stars. When you look up in those skies and you see that little twinkle, I look so hard at them at night that I watch the twinkle. All of nature is a part of this living tapestry, big old woven thing here. There's no division, there's no boundary. We just are one big, vast, vibrating presence, all of us together, and we're expressing the infinite forms of everything, movement, the infinite forms of being and everything through each and every one of us, because all of us is one of those infinite forms of expressions. And it's this big, vast vibration. It's just fabulous. So we are not apart from the universe. We are the universe as it becomes aware of itself. You hear me? We are the universe aware of itself. The minute we acknowledge, that's why in spiritual mind treatment or affirmative prayer, the first step is recognize. When we recognize, we have become aware of ourselves. The universe has become aware of itself. And in that awareness, we remember, spirit is not a thing we reach for. It's what we are. So do your best to do whatever you have, no matter how much or how little you think you're doing. Movement takes many forms. What kind of forms can you decide? What do you think moving is? What is the vitality of your progress in your life? Just think about that for a minute. What is movement for me? Remember, all of this movement is given a connection to something. You see, we are those expressions. Do you want to count yourself as one of them? Or do you want to count yourself as an I don't know? Because the reason I say that is when I ask certain people, what do you want? They say, I don't know. Well, just like Melissa read, the first paragraph of my reading was, we are expressions of energy. We're here by design, living with intention. Wait a minute. We are expressions of energy. We're here by design, not a mistake. Nobody's a mistake. And when people, well, the other day a lady was a little upset because she was depressed because her daughter is having another child and whatever. Wait a minute. After we finished our session, she realized that, yep, everybody's here. What did I just say? By divine design or divine appointment. Whatever I say, that's what I'm talking about. Because we are here living with intention, no matter what someone else thinks we belong here or not. Every day we rise up through that quiet strength that's within us to get up out of the bed, to get into this inner knowing. We know that that's what we do. We know it as oneness. All of this is known as oneness, oneness with spirit. That's all it is. There's no, I'm going to be, and you speaking as though spirit is outside of you or you're outside of it. That can't be. It's a deep, steady link. Just like I said, it pulses, it vibrates in every single breath that we take. I will never not remember that. Remember that vast presence when you're out there walking in nature and you see things just moving. You see the clouds moving. That's a vast presence. It's huge. But that's a vibration. That's also a pulse. In our oneness with spirit, even our problems become a summoning where we are calling ourselves to grow. Because now we're saying, whoops, what's going on? I need to do something. We're causing ourselves to grow. We're becoming something because of the problems we're having. And then we're summoning the solutions. But you got to go do them though. You can't just half step with yourself. Oh yeah, well today I'll do. No, but because this is the problem. Sometimes we temporarily forget what we know. It's as if we never knew it at all, ever. And we know, because we wouldn't be here. Eventually, we find a little part of faith somewhere in us, and it will remind us of the truth that's within us. But first, you have to figure out, what is it going to take for me to move? What do I need to move with? See, it's that truth within you that helps you to recall who and where you are in life, that is. Home is the energy of oneness, and that's where you got to return if you can't figure it out. That means spending time with this energy of oneness. At any given time, we feel that, oh wait, life is moving too fast for me or too slow for me. Whatever you feel, that's when it's time to return home to the oneness, which is your spiritual practice. Spiritual practice deepens the bond, right? It deepens the bond, and also it deepens our alignment and our understanding. The understanding exactly of what we have. This is an infinite source and supply that we live in and live by. That's where we remember we are one with the beloved, or we are the beloved of the beloved. The beloved is energy, but we are that same energy. So we are the beloved of the beloved. Get it? And we are on this perfect route all the time to reawakening. The minute you fall asleep on yourself, the minute you forget that it's always been about you, then it's time to go home to this oneness. Home. What the heck is home all about? So I challenge you to make a spiritual practice the first thing in the morning. First thing in the morning, I wake up, I'm in practice. And that's breath, that's stretch, that's moving. Before I even hit the floor, I have done all of that, and it takes me about a good 20 minutes before I rise up. Because see, I know the last thing at night I'm going to do is something similar to that. Because I'm going to return home, because it's something Timmy P and I had a great class on sleep. You got to wonder, is the dream dreaming me, or am I dreaming it? You got to know. So practice the last thing at night and the first thing in the morning or whatever. In practice, this is what happens. We literally hear these whispers, the connection. We hear this power that moves through us. It walks through all people, but we also are reminded of who we truly are in practice. So this is what actually happens, because that's theory. So let me give you an example. Okay, so that's good. It sounds great to know that, well, we hear the whisper and the connection of the power that moves through us, and it walks through us, and it walks through everyone we know. Okay, we know that. But let me just tell you personally, I'm gonna talk about reality. Every day I wake up, but before I do, I actually think about getting up, to sit up, to do anything. I'm gonna stretch. And then I'm going to visualize my day. And I'm going to think about how many clients I have today. And I'm going to be visual. I really put them in my face, in my mind, so I can remember names and things like that. So I have to bring this mind together, this oneness, my so-called mind and spirit's mind, bring them together. And in my oneness practice, I'm confident that my day is ready to go. So sometimes I find myself coming in to some of my members, and I'm around people who actually pay attention. So I'm asked questions like, Friday, a girl asked me, Rosedale, are you psychic? And I said, what do you mean? She said, how did you know I had a spine problem? Or she said, well, maybe I didn't tell you that. I said, no, 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 no. See, I could be teaching a strength class. That's because of the oneness, but you know, you don't want to explain to people all these things. I know there's the oneness because I always tell people, spirit knows spirit's people. And you are speaking to spirit's people and they're getting exactly what they need. That's why they come to you, because that's just amazing. You know, one to one, that is reality. I know this is what's happening. And because I know it, guess what else I do? I must believe it. And if I'm believing it, when I get with these people, they're definitely getting the healing that they want. I didn't put that out there. So maybe sometimes afterward, a person would tell me it was exactly what I needed today, without me even knowing it. I may not remember saying anything directly to anyone in general, but spirit, like I said, knows spirit's people. That's why I stopped trying to be someone new every time I go on a new path. I stopped trying to be someone better, because with spiritual practices, I don't need to work that hard. Period. No one does. See, I know I'm already tuned in. I'm tapped in and I'm turned on, because before I get up and leave out of here in the morning, I know, because I spend time at home in the energy of oneness every day. Maybe more than two night and day. Maybe in the middle of the day when I say, oh, wait a minute, you need to breathe. See, this journey is not about becoming something new. It's about remembering what you have always been, and you have always been in the oneness of spirit. And I don't like the thought of sounding poetic, but it's not poetic, it's real. See, when we remember, we change. It's just that simple. Yeah, I know it sounds poetic, but it is real. When we remember, we change. When you keep going every day, la la la, living, your life stays the same. That's science. But see, I thank God for spiritual practice. It shows up in my choices. It shows up in my faith. It shows up when I trust the process, especially when life looks uncertain. I stay centered. Before I discovered spiritual practices way, I worried about too much, entirely too much. Most of it wasn't even mine to carry. It was about friends, family. These people that I said, oh my God, why don't you quit smoking? Or, you need to do, wait a minute, that's not my business. I got me. I said, sometimes even people who are worried and concerned, they're not even concerned about themselves. They're doing other things. But that's okay, because as time got on and I got into my 30s and 40s, that worry started to slow it down a bit. And through practice, I learned to turn away from that constant worry, because now I can truly say I am the happiest woman I've ever been in my life. I don't look to any outside authority. I don't go home to sit there and be depressed. I go home to the energy of oneness when I can find answers, revelations. That's where my best insights come from, by the way. I can be driving along on anything, and all of a sudden a thought will come to me, and voila, guess what? There is my answer. So I'm going to go home and make that call. I'm going to go and do this and do that, because evidently that's what it is. So in times of uncertainty, spiritual practice is my foundation. So you heard all the airy, fairy, beautiful words, what it really does, but I'm telling you what it does in my life. See, many people are worried about the state of our country. And there's uncertainty in the country, but it doesn't have to be. See, when we lean into that spiritual practice, our faith expands. We know that in times of uncertainty, we know that we have to return home to this oneness. The more we practice, the faster certainty starts to shape and starts to mold. And all of a sudden, you're in it. So simple practices can step us up right into it. But here's a nice, easy practice. If you're stuck for words and don't know what to do, just affirm right off the bat, God is. I used to do that back in the day, and I said, oh my goodness, and this thing has been working ever since. And I just go deeper and deeper, experimenting with it. Not just in the good times do I do this, but I do them in every time I get to the point where I need to pause and say, whoa, now that one just threw you. What you doing next? See, we must go past the pain and hold on to a vision that's higher than that, what you are seeing right in front of you right then. This is what it means to return home to the energy of oneness. Not someday, now. See, the truth is our path. The purpose is our movement. CSL Charlotte, science of mind, whatever you want to call it. But that's the movement. That's the purpose, right? That gets you. And spirit is the breath behind it all. See, we've been on a journey a long time. And as long as we have walked this planet, we've been building relationships, finding friends. We've been finding new jobs. We've been all kinds of buying new material things, which we should have anything we want, anytime. There's no such thing as materialistic because that's what it's here for. So finding want a new house, go for it. Don't worry about people telling you that, oh, you're just material. Yes, I am. I am materialistic. And then you're going on, living on this planet, weaving in these different, beautiful, awesome connections and don't even understand what to do with them. But anyway, no matter what you do with all of this that you've got, you have to admit this is a journey we could never forget. It's your journey. It's my journey. That's why home is so powerful. Home is our resting place. So being there to me is such a relief and very comforting to know that I'm home with the oneness and I'm going to sit here and I'm going to relax. See, it doesn't have to be a physical house made of brick and mortar with family members, with actual people and close people, whatever. It can be just memories because you're at home with the energy of the oneness. All you have to know is home is the energy of oneness. Okay, I gotta go. Soon as you hear that, I gotta go. That is time and spiritual practice, and it's so key and important. See, home gathers all of those experiences, the good, the bad, and everything in between, into a sacred memory of belonging, of feeling loved. Because if you sit long enough, you don't need a person to say they love you. You're gonna feel it. But you have to try it. So when you think of home, let me ask you, I'm gonna say it again. When you think of home, what comes to your mind? Because at home, our oneness with spirit reigns energy throughout our body because we are one with this energy. But you have to feel it. And the most important thing about home is it is where we return to our practice with our oneness with spirit. So when we attune to the nudge, when we attune to that nudge, the inner calling is right here. All we gotta do is listen. But you gotta do something about that listening. And then you start to understand what you're one with. That's the energy I'm talking about returning home to. I'm talking about that powerful listening, the affirmations that sometimes come from lyrics of songs, I love music. I love listening to the affirmations because they put me where I need to be. But I'm talking about how you feel when the energy starts raining down love on you every time you think of something so beautiful and peaceful as home. Sometimes I think of home as a fantasy, but it's really real to me because it has taught me love. So I find love and home as a restful, peaceful place. And so when I get a chance to do that, I sometimes say, I can't wait to get home. I literally say those words. So, what about you? Do you know that the love you made with all those friends and family members and special friends over the years, and many of them may have passed on, but do you know that can never be taken away from you? So go home and listen and remember and feel that love that you have. So when you go home to that energy of oneness, you can feel, well, let me just tell you this. When I sit down and I want to, and I'm looking to do that, I am looking to feel the energy and love of certain people in my family or friends that have passed on. You know what I do? I know and I feel them sending me back their energy. If I'm tired or whatever it is, I'm home. So listen to the song. There's this next song, and listen to the lyrics very clearly, and open yourself and be lifted home with the oneness. So listen to the song Home by Stephanie Mills. Do they say? I can hear them telling me, please take it away. But you know what I love so much about it is that she says, I can hear my friends telling me, here's my energy. Keep moving, girl. Keep moving, because movement is everything. Because when you go home, you get up, and you know you can get up. Because if you can look up, you can get up, and you know you will feel the love raining down on you. But you got to go back home, because it's where it's at. Ooh, did y'all hear Stephanie take it home? So, yeah, I was in here, Alan's like, she's crazy. But anyway, that's the oneness that I've been speaking about today. That's the oneness with spirit that showers us with love 24/7. That's the energy that we have. It reminds us that we are never separate, never lost, always home in love. Timmy P. Okay, I will remember me on Tuesday night. So Tuesday night at our consciousness meeting, it will be Remember Me, I'm home. Wow. So big gratitude, shout outs to our team for being so phenomenal. Alan, you are the man. That's why you're the right hand man, because you are the right man for the job. So with that being said, thank you, Alan, for being our MC. And Mo, of course, she did our opening prayer, our own practitioner, Mo. She did it for us, and she's going to do it as we leave too. So I thank you, Melissa, I love hearing you read my words, man. They're so fabulous. I feel like, wow, a kid watching them blue eyes. So thank you, Melissa, for reading that. It's so intriguing. You made it intriguing. Thanks, Melissa. And also thank you for spotlighting for us and greeting everybody. And thanks, Timmy P, for the music announcements and all the words of wisdom, all the jewels and the beautiful things. But Alan, that prayer that you closed out on that giving part rocked, okay? So you had that too. And so with that being said, thanks also, Mo, for emailing all of these prayers out to people as they come. So, I think I said everything. So before we close out, today was all about the home being the energy of oneness. So now, remember that during this week, because as we wrap up, I want you to remember that home is the energy of wellness, of oneness. So with this, faith is the key that unlocks it. But let me just say this about faith. When you believe in yourself, that's faith. So you are believing in the spirit within you, and you are the spirit within you. So let this next song remind you of your belief, which carries you home. You're getting ready to get taken home really quick. So listen to the song When You Believe by the Wiz Cast. Indeed, yes, indeed. Did she do that or what? She did it. She did it. You have explored. Home is the energy of oneness. So it's time for you to believe you can go home any. No, I like this. You can always go home anytime you want. Okay? See, our path leads us anywhere we say we're going, and we believe it. So home is the energy of wellness. So if you believe, go. Now Mo can can pray us out. Thank you, Mo.
Thank you, Reverend Rosedale, and everyone here for your participation for today with this amazing service. So what I know is that as we go through with this beautiful Sunday morning, I know that each and every one of us takes with us that which was ours to hear from her amazing message today. I know that my heart feels larger and more open as I look at each and every one of you. You're all right here daily. So I hold you in light. Such a Pisces. I hold you in light and love, knowing that your week unfolds smoothly and easily, and that everything that you need to carry you forward is automatically there. I release, I let go, I let God, and together we can all lock it in for ourselves by simply saying, and so it is.
So it is. Thank you, Mo. That was a fabulous. I told you she was going to close us out well, didn't I? So thank you, Mo. And as so, we're going to wrap up now. We spent some beautiful time together today because we know that home is the energy of oneness. So now that we know this so well, let's take that thought for the rest of the week and probably for life. So as we leave this sacred space, just set your intentions to remember. Set your intentions to remember home is the energy of oneness. It's already in your body, already there. The universe is always responding, and you think that you got to look for the universe. No, the universe acknowledges us because we acknowledge it, always reflecting and always supporting us on our path. And you're supported 100%. So until we meet again, spend time with yourself, filing and flying and doing all these things you do, but come home to your oneness. And so it is.